Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto Group.
After completing a 3-game sweep against the Pirates last night, Cubs now find themselves a ridiculous 38 games above 500. An unbelievable 15-game lead over the Cardinals in the NL Central. They'll look to build on that big lead tonight. They begin a 4-game series against the Shark, Jeff Samardzija, the ex-Cub, and the San Francisco Giants. First pitch rolls your way, 7:05 right here on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Hello, welcome in Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. Hope you had a good day so far. He is Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Holly, August is called by you baseball players the dog days of summer. But do not tell that to Joe Maddon's crew. They wrapped up the month with an unbelievable 22-6 record. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, their 15-game lead in the division is the largest since the 1907 Chicago Cubs finished 17 games ahead of Pittsburgh. Cubs on pace for 104 wins.
And I really do believe they're going to get there and probably go past 104 wins. They got some very favorable matchups. I mean, that's really what the month of September is, preparation for what the playoffs are ultimately going to be. Tune in tonight. Big game against the Giants. You don't have as many of these marquee so-called matchups where you've got teams that are fighting for playoff spots. You have the Cardinals, you've got the Giants left, but there's definitely some winnable games there for the Cubs. If we're going to talk over 104 wins, I think that really does happen. But again, this is a big series in that the competition or the potential to see a team that you might run into in the playoffs is now here.
All right, here are some of the numbers from the Cubs' month of August. They averaged 5.1 runs per game en route to that 22-6 mark, hitting 37 homers in 28 games and OPS of 8.07. I mean, unbelievable.
And you know the thing I keep telling you is I still don't believe they've played their best baseball yet, and I'm hoping it's coming. I'm hoping it's coming in late September, early October, and late October. That's when you want to see them at their best. Good things are starting to happen. We're watching Addison Russell go for 100 RBIs. We're watching Bryant push for the MVP and Rizzo push for the MVP. But this is a team that I still believe is growing and getting better. That is ultimately what is so scary about this group. This is a story that we're going to tell this year. Hopefully it ends the way we want it to with the World Series win. But again, this is a team that is going to contend and compete for a lot of years to come because this is a young team and this is an exciting team to watch and it's still hungry to get better.
All right, let me just correct myself. It's a .807 OPS. I want to make sure I was accurate there, an 807 mark. And with the calendar turning to September, that also means rosters can be expanded. Cubs have added 3 players to their active roster. Chris Coghlan, Joe Smith, both activated off the DL, while Jake Buchanan has been selected from Class AAA Iowa. All right, we know how much you baseball players are creatures of habit. How much adjustment did it take to having more guys around in September? Some years, I remember, you look in, there was 36, 37, 38 guys in there.
Right. It's not an adjustment on the field. Maybe it's a little bit of an adjustment in the dugout. Just talking space here, the physical element. The clubhouse probably not nearly as big a deal, although some places I was back in the day, you ended up doubling up. The more time you had, less likely you were going to be that guy that ended up doubling up. But again, the situation that you're in right now, when you see these rosters expand, are guys that are there to help. I mean, everybody probably brings a different dynamic to the table. And what you see, and I think it's a little bit different with the Cubs this year than what other teams might actually do. You look around, some organizations bring a speed guy up, usually their top stolen base threat. You'll bring some young guys up who you believe may be in your big leagues next year. You'll bring up some arms to certainly help out in the bullpen. But you look at the guys that we called up, I think these are guys that are jockeying for playoff roster spots. So it's going to be interesting to see how this actually goes in September, because I think even that internal competition that I talk about, that competitiveness, exists on this roster, because I don't think that playoff roster is set yet.
All right, before we get to tonight's ballgame, we have to take one more look at the play that Addison Russell made down the 7th inning with the bases loaded. Holly, this goes down as one of the best catches of the year. There's a bunch of candidates. Anthony Rizzo on the ledge, Jason Hayward in San Francisco crashing into the wall. But when you go 104 feet 11 inches and you find a way to get that done, knowing that those benches and the bullpen and the mound out there are coming up quick, it's a heck of a play, man.
You didn't even mention the in-game situation, Cappy. You're absolutely right. All of those details are fantastic and certainly important, but you're talking about a big pitch for Grimm in that spot, in that situation, with Gregory Polanco up and the bases loaded and the game on the line. I mean, what a play. Straight line, gave himself an opportunity to make a play. I've said it already on the post-game show when we got to do that play, talking about it again. The ability to get low and give yourself an opportunity to buy that. I mean, that is just pure athleticism right there. You see him take off and straight line it for that ball. But again, wow, the ability to go down and even catch that ball so close to the turf.
I had somebody say to me today, well, why didn't he just run through the ball and make the play? And I said to him, well, number one, he doesn't know what the left fielder's doing, where the third baseman's going. He doesn't realize how quick those benches are coming up from the bullpen where there's not a lot of room over there. The mounds are there, and he took the easiest path where he could try and go underneath those two guys.
Well, there's a degree of uncertainty there. I bet if you ask Addison Russell that he was sure he was going to get close to the area where he would catch the ball, and that's what you do. That's kind of the definition of a spectacular play, is you give yourself the best line to make a catch. And then after that, you start to hope, and then you adjust, quick twitch adjustments that kind of happen. And that's why he actually went down to the slide right there, was to buy himself some time. I bet if you were to ask him, if he were to run through it, I bet it's a 50-50 in his mind whether he actually catches that baseball. He bought himself more time. That's why he went down that 2 feet of airspace to get a little bit lower and to slide underneath that catch.
All right, let's take a look at today's pitching matchup, brought to you by our friends at Bona, the original Italian beef. And taking them out for the San Francisco Giants, one of the men the Cubs traded away in order to get Addison Russell, Jeff Samardzija. More on him in a moment. For the Cubs, they're sending Mike Montgomery, the lefty, to the bump, making his third start of the season for the Cubs. He enters tonight's contest 1-1, an ERA at 3.50 since being acquired from the Mariners for Danny Vogelbach. And with more on tonight's starter, Kelly Crow is at Wrigley Field with a Coors Light game report.
All right, guys, thanks a lot here with Mike Montgomery before your third start now of the season. And there was a little switch. Originally, it was going to be the Pirates. Now it's going to be the Giants. Does anything change upstairs for you when there's a day that you've been pushed back a little bit?
You know, it might change my routine a little bit. And, you know, now kind of get a little more head start, scouting report on the Giants, but not too much. You know, it's an extra day. I had an extra day before the last time, so just going to get mentally prepared, get ready to face the Giants.
How well do you know that team? I know you faced them once before last season, but in terms of navigating the lineup, do you feel pretty comfortable?
Yeah, you know, I think it's more just feeling comfortable within myself, and I've seen them play a few times this year, and, you know, I got a little bit of history with some of the hitters there, so I think it's going to be more about, you know, going out there with my game plan and executing, you know, really no matter who's hitting. And I think that's, you know, kind of the secret for me that's worked this year. Just go out there, execute pitches, and just focus on that.
Speaking of that, each time out, you've been out a little bit longer. Last time out, 5 innings, a lot of good work for yourself. Would you like to go even further if possible, maybe into that 6 and or 7 inning range?
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things last outing, I wasn't really efficient, and I was falling behind a lot of guys. And I think that'll be the focus, is attacking guys and, you know, coming at them with my best stuff and trying to go as deep as I can in the game.
When you say history with certain guys, when it comes to the Giants, what are your keys for success, aside from what you just mentioned, getting ahead in the counts?
You know, I think it's going to be getting ahead, like I said, and just working good with the catcher, just getting in a good rhythm, and, you know, really just letting them hit the ball and get themselves out. And I think taking that mentality, instead of trying to miss bats and strike everybody out, just go out there, you know, attack the zone and trust your defense and you know, be efficient.
Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Montgomery last pitched Friday against the Dodgers, allowing 3 runs, 6 hits, 4 walks, 5 innings of work out west, getting a no decision through a season-high 91 pitches. Your thoughts on Michael Montgomery?
Well, he's had a nice season, but again, you have to look at the entire picture. You look at what he's become with the Cubs, and, you know, he's kind of that go-between guy. Now he's in the rotation. 91 pitches, that's a little steep for 5 innings. Again, I think he's going to look to be a little bit more efficient tonight. I like the matchup against this Giants team. They do have some potent left-handed bats in the lineup, but again, it's still a good matchup. He is at Wrigley Field. That's what you're looking for. The 4 walks certainly stands out. That's part of that inefficiency that you saw in his last start. You will see the mix, the fastball, the slider, the curveball, and the change. He's got a very good breaking ball and using that fastball to get ahead. I always talk about, you know, when you see a team, much like the Giants, that you don't see very often, as a pitcher, you have a huge advantage, that first pass through the lineup. So he's got that going for him tonight. Let's hope he gets out there and is real aggressive with that fastball.
All right, Samardzija comes into tonight's game looking for his 12th win of the season. The ERA an even 4, coming off of a win on Friday when he threw 7 innings of shutout baseball against the Atlanta Braves. In his last 4 starts, he's 2-1 with an ERA of 1.75. Tell us about Jeff Samardzija.
Not much has changed for the Shark. He's still aggressive. Listen, I mean, you know, I think back to his last year here in Chicago and talking to Jeff, knowing Jeff, 200 innings, very, very important. Being aggressive in the strike zone, very, very important. And again, that's exactly what he's become. Now, you look at his numbers this year. He pitches in a pitcher's-friendly ballpark in San Francisco. His numbers certainly favor that. He's given up a few more homers on the road. His ERA is a little bit higher on the road, as to be expected. But I don't think what he is going to bring to the table tonight is going to change. You're going to see that fastball aggressiveness. You're going to see the hard cutter. You're going to see the hard slider as well. You'll see a lot of velocity from Jeff, and he's going to be aggressive. I don't think he's going to back down from this Cubs team, knowing his personality.
All right, it's time for Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business. Today we're looking at Jeff Samardzij's career numbers at Wrigley Field, where he spent his first 7 Major League seasons. He's appeared in 104 games at Clark and Addison, starting 40 of them. He's 15-17, an ERA of .384, struck out 334 hitters in 330 and a third innings pitched. Comcast Business, built for business. Holly, he bet on himself, did not sign a long-term deal with the Cubs, allowed them then to trade him for Addison Russell. It also paid off for Jeff. He got big money, $90 million.
Well, I know Jeff's happy. I mean, certainly San Francisco is a good place to be. They've got, obviously, the World Series history that they're building into, and he's a big reason why many people picked them early on to be a World Series contender. They still are, but they're working out of the wild card spot. You know, part of Jeff's thing, if you think back to the great run that he had before he eventually left here, you know, there was some ideas of consistency. I know that he was on a bad team, or the younger bad teams that we had during those tough years here. You know, now he's with a good team, but that inconsistency is still there, and I think that's really what it gets down to. Now, he's been throwing the ball, as you said, Cappy, very, very well of late. You go back to May, he was outstanding, but April, not so much. June and July, not so much. And you kind of know Jeff in his personality. It's still kind of that story. And if you think back to last year on the South Side, very much the same thing. A lot of that inconsistency. You don't know what you're going to get on a given day. He may go give you 7 shutout innings. He may give up 5 in 5 innings.
All right, we have to take our first time out at Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. When we return, we'll look at the lineups for both squads. Chris Bryant continues to make a case, follow up on his Rookie of the Year award with an MVP selection as the third baseman in the battle for the NL home run lead. And it is 25 minutes and some change until the start of tonight's ballgame. Still time to give Feldco a call, 866-4-FEL-DCL.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Fields Auto Group. Fields matters because you matter. See Fields first. FieldsAuto.com.
Is price important? You bet it is. Hello, I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group.
It's the best price. You know it's the right price.
A low price and a whole lot more, like our Fields amenities that include free loaners, free car washes, and our Fields cafes.
Those other things are just perks, extras. It's not like it's built into the price.
Exactly. A low price and Fields amenities at no additional charge.
I got more car for the money.
It's what we do. Fields matters because you matter.
Give your bath a new look with Max Shower Enclosures from Menards. The 36 by 72-inch Begonia Neo-Angle shower includes base, walls with storage shelves, and patterned glass. Just $299. Update your floors with Bravado laminate flooring from Tarkett with easy click installation in 2 colors, $117 per square foot. Malibu laminate includes an attached pad for easy glueless installation in 2 colors, $139 per square foot. Now during Menards Labor Day construction sale.
Save big money at Menards.
Pat Hughes reporting from Wrigleyville Sports, where the excitement is building. Devin and Colin are choosing caps from the enormous wall of hats. Check out that selection. Chris and Tony are sporting new home jerseys with the blue pinstripes, blue hats, and sleeves. Get these ball players some trousers. Katrina is eyeing a new sweatshirt. She wants to be ready for the postseason. Across the street from Wrigley Field, Wrigleyville Sports is your one-stop shop for everything Cubs. Open 7 days a week or anytime at WrigleyvilleSports.com.
Have a look around.
Thank you.
Got me looking so crazy right now, your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Looking so crazy in love, got me looking so crazy in love.
So you like it?
I do. Now is the moment to get the Honda Accord you love. Named a Car and Driver's 10 Best list a record 30 times at the Honda Summer Clearance Event, going on now.
Bryant in the air. deep left. Gone! He's got the National League lead again, number 36.
All right, welcome back to Cubs Pregame Live, presented by our friends at the Fields Auto Group. He's Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Chris Bryant wrapped up a smoking hot August with 2 more hits. Finished the month batting .383, 10 home runs, a slugging percentage of .748. And as Len said last night's round tripper gave him the NL lead, at least for a while. Colorado's Nolan Arenado went yard later in the evening to tie Chris at 36. They are 6 ahead of Milwaukee's Chris Carter. A few weeks ago, Moats thought 40 home runs for Bryant out of the question. That has certainly changed, Todd.
Well, and it's not like he's trying for the home runs right now. I mean, that's the thing that I take such joy in watching him play, is how he's evolved as a hitter. If it's an extension of where he's driving the baseball and the ball happens to get out, so be it. But you watch his approach right now. It is an all-fields approach. It is a game plan being executed. If he's going to get a pitch away, maybe he might drive it out to center field. If you're going to back up a curveball on the inside part of the plate like he saw last night in his first at-bat, you're going to watch him go out the other way. A lot of times you watch Chris, he gets such great extension that these are long line drives that carry out, and that's what makes him special. The rest of us, those are base hits. But for Chris Bryant, they turn into home runs. I'm telling you, the ceiling has not even come close to being met on this guy. Whether this season ends in MVP or not, he is improving leaps and bounds. I potentially think that, a couple years ago, maybe we would have said he'd hit 40, 50 home runs in a season at some point, but the batting average I thought might be a little bit down. I mean, I'm convinced you're going to see 300 consistently, and you're going to see the power.
I interviewed him earlier today, and I said, okay, how do you approach if it's Madison Bumgarner or it's me pitching against you? He said the exact same way. It's a nameless, faceless opponent. I don't care what his name is, what his rep is, what he throws. I have a way that I approach every pitcher. I get in the box, and he's nameless and faceless, and I just go attack and do the best I can.
He belongs, and I think that's what you go through in the first 2 years in the big leagues. You realize that about yourself. At first, you do get caught up. For me, it was Greg Maddux, John Smoltz. Wow. I mean, like Kurt Schilling. I mean, these were big-name guys, and I'd watch them on TV, and then you get in the box, and you realize you got to perform against them. And then you realize that you can perform against them. He's climbed over all those hurdles. You know who you're watching do that right now currently is Addison Russell's doing the exact same thing. He might just be a tick behind him, but Chris Bryant is speaking exactly what you believe. It's not who you face. You're going to look back and say, I faced that Hall of Famer and that Hall of Famer. But at the time, it's just another guy with a baseball in his hand.
All right, let's look at the Cubs lineup brought to you by our partners at Wrigleyville Sports. Dexter Fowler, as always, will lead off in center. Chris Bryant in the 2-hole playing third. Rizzo's at first hitting third. Zobrist at second. Hayward in right. Russell at short. Coghlan gets a start in left. David Ross gets a start with John Lester not pitching. And Mike Montgomery is your pitcher. Let's talk about Chris Coghlan. He's got some pretty darn good numbers against Jeff Samardzija.
Remember that swing right there?
I remember that.
I love that. All right, a couple home runs against Jeff Samardzija. Certainly worth noting. The opportunity to be in the ballgame tonight. As I said at the open of the show, Cap, this is kind of one of those things. You got to have a curious eye to what Chris Coghlan is going to do in the month of September, because you remember the rosters expand. You can carry a few extra guys. Playing time is going to be divvied up. You got a team that's at 85 wins now and counting. So there's plenty of opportunity in the month of September for a few of these guys to really bolster their case. But when it comes down to it, we're talking about bolstering your case for a playoff roster. So important that Cogs gets back, gets hot, and starts to really produce.
Here is a look at Bruce Bochy's lineup for tonight's game. You got Denard Span at the top of that lineup. Angel Pagan, an ex-Cub. Buster Posey, who's a heck of a player. Hunter Pence, Brandon Crawford, Joe Panik, Eduardo Nunez, Brandon Belt, and Jeff Samardzija. It's a good lineup, but when you don't see Matt Duffy's name in there, and he went in the trade for Matt Moore,
Tampa Bay.
That's a bat that you take out.
Well, it is. It's still a very, very good lineup. They've got good balance, left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters. I've always believed that Hunter Pence is a huge key to this lineup. In fact, when he's rolling really, really well, this offense seems to. They don't have a tremendous amount of power at home or on the road, but they are a collection of very, very good hitters. And you can kind of see it even in the lineup tonight. Brandon Belt hitting eighth. Remember, this guy went to the All-Star game, had a fantastic first half. This offense has been very inconsistent in the second half. They've had a hard time scoring runs consistently, and there's a few guys in there that kind of represent that, one being Belt and Hunter Pence as well, who are looking to get on track.
All right, Pedro Strop suffered a setback in his rehab from knee surgery. A right groin strain. The team still expected him to be back before the end of the regular season. He was hoping to be back in a week. That obviously will not happen now. Cubs bullpen will be a little shorthanded today as well. Aroldis Chapman pitched in all 3 games against the Pirates and is extremely unlikely to see any action tonight, maybe not tomorrow as well. In fact, he is on Joe Maddon's no-fly list tonight and probably doesn't go tomorrow either. He's been very busy since being acquired by the Cubs. 16 2/3 innings in 19 games with the Northsiders, racking up 12 saves and striking out 28. Of course, injuries to Strop and Hector Rondon have put more stress on the pen. Chapman wasn't that sharp last night, although Joe Maddon said on our postgame show, yeah, he was a little bit all over the place, but it was the sharpest stuff he's had.
Well, maybe so, but the pitch count was elevated, and that's the thing that gets me concerned, certainly when we know what Aroldis Chapman can do and what he's going to mean. The biggest games he's going to pitch are about 30 days away from now. Again, this is why he was acquired. The numbers prove that out. He's done it everywhere he's been. He did it in New York. He did it in Cincinnati. He's doing it for the Cubs right now. He's one of the best arms. When all things kind of even get away from him just a little bit, much like, I'm not saying things got away from him last night, but when you kind of see him scatter it just a little bit, that's the gift that you've got, is 104 miles an hour to fall back on and get yourself back into the zone. Other guys sometimes have to go find other pitches that are working, and we see it a lot in baseball. But when Aroldis scuffles a little bit, maybe like he did last night, even though I know Joe said he was sharp, that fastball is always, even at 104 miles an hour down the middle of the plate, is very, very difficult to square up.
All right, let's talk more about the Cubs bullpen. They'll be a little shorthanded because you won't see Chapman. You probably won't see Travis Wood tonight. It's just when you don't have Rondon, you don't have Strop, everybody's workload gets a little bit stronger.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And it starts with Mike Montgomery. I mean, that's really where I'll go with that, is that you're looking for him to be a little bit more efficient than maybe he had been. Let's say he gets to 100 pitches tonight. Let's hope that 100 pitches is over 6 or 7 innings as opposed to 91 pitches over 5. It certainly helps out your bullpen. You don't want to come up short at this time. But I think you also need to recognize that Joe sees we're an 85-win team. We played very, very good baseball. I want to make sure that we maintain a competitive edge in the month of September. So it's not as if we're just going to push until we win everything up, playoff spot, number of wins, home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and then you just send everybody away on a 2-week vacation. You still have to play out the season, Cappy. So I think it's actually a very strategic move here to get some guys a rest now with the idea of getting the crank back up here at the beginning of September, push a little bit, probably give them a few more days off mid-September, and then crank them up once again.
All right, we have to take our final time out before we turn it over to Len and JD. But before we get out of here, we'll pick our key performers. We'll get Holly's keys to the game. Cubs have gone 11-3-1 in 15 series since the All-Star break, including 7 sweeps in the season. The Cubs have 14 series sweeps. It's already 5 more than they had in all of 2015.
Chicago's favorite spot for prime steaks, the freshest seafood, and world-famous Florida stone crab. Come on down to Joe's.
Is price important? You bet it is. Hello, I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group.
It's the best price. You know it's the right price.
A low price and a whole lot more, like our Fields amenities that include free loaners, free car washes, and our Fields cafes.
Those other things are just perks, extras. It's not like it's built into the price.
Exactly. A low price and Fields amenities at no additional charge.
I got more car for the money.
It's what we do. Fields matters because you matter.
The Anthony Rizzo Family Foundation and the Bono family have teamed up to knock cancer out of the park. Order your Italian beef the Rizzo way, and Bono will donate to my charity. I'm proud to be working with the Cubs and the Bono family, 2 Chicago originals.
Order it the Rizzo way at your local Bono restaurant.
Your home, your auto. They just go together. Combine your home and auto insurance with State Farm. Save time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to your State Farm agent today.
$1 window siding and door installation, 102 Pine Street.
Go, guys. It's Feldco to the rescue with $1 installation on all windows, siding, and doors. Plus no money down and no interest until 2018. It's Feldco's biggest sale of the year.
That's $1.
$1 installation on all windows, siding, and doors.
Hurry, $1 installation ends Monday. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Right now, save big on tires and wheels with our Labor Day deals. Use Discount Tire Credit and save up to $320 when you purchase select tire and wheel packages. Discount Tire. where America saves on tires.
Hey, how's it going? Hotcakes? Hotcakes.
This place has hotcakes.
Hotcakes.
So why aren't they selling like hotcakes? With Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi Pro, they could be. Just add a customized message to your Wi-Fi Pro splash page, and you'll reach your customers where their eyes are already, on their devices.
Order up.
It's more than just Wi-Fi. It can help grow your business. You don't see that every day.
Introducing Wi-Fi Pro. Wi-Fi that helps grow your business. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Today's CSN Bar of the Game, presented by Coors Light, is Mullins at 7301 Northwestern Avenue in Chicago. If you are not heading to Wrigley Field to see the game there, watch tonight's broadcast on CSN at Mullins. See the complete list of the CSN Bars of the Game, presented by Coors Light. Visit csnchicago.com. All right, time for our Fields Auto Group keys to the game. Take it away, Holly Time 28 on Twitter.
All right, here you go. Big flies right off the top. Now, what we're talking about here is Jeff Samardzija on the road. 22 homers allowed on the season, 17 of them on the road. While he's on the road, he's back at Wrigley, and we got guys in this lineup who have taken him deep. I already mentioned Chris Coughlin's taking him deep. Dexter Fowler's taking him deep. Jason Hayward's taking him deep. Anthony Rizzo, nice. I'm not going to get to that yet. Cappy, nice pick. Has taken him deep as well. So there's the potential for that. Jeff is very, very aggressive in the zone. Think big innings, think some big flies. I think it's a potential. Matter of fact, in 3 of his last 4 road outings, he's given up 2 homers in those ball games. Fastball aggressive. Montgomery, we've already talked about this a little bit, but you want to see it early. I talked about the denominator. The Giants not having too much to go on when it comes to Montgomery. With that being said, the condition of our bullpen, you want to see him be more efficient. It starts with the fastball. I'm thinking first 3 innings here, Mike Montgomery gets in, sets things up, establishes that fastball, and starts to really open it up. Late game matchups, of course, that is referring to Aroldis Chapman not being available tonight, maybe not even tomorrow night, how those matchups will actually play, pairing that again with Mike Montgomery and how long he goes. So there's going to be bullpen arms tonight. The question is, where do you go and how do you go there?
All right, time for our key performers. I am going to go with Anthony Rizzo.
I jumped the T's right there. It's a good pick. I'm going to go with Chris Bryant. Not letting you off the hook that easy.
All right, there you go. Thanks for watching Cubs Pregame Live, presented by the Fields Auto Group. Holly and I live from Wrigley Field for the postgame show. Enjoy the game, everybody, right here on Comcast Sportsnet Plus.
I'm Jamie Foxx for Verizon. In the nation's largest independent study by Root Metrics, again, Verizon is the #1 network.
Hi, I'm Jamie Foxx for Sprint. And I'm Jamie Foxx for T-Mobile. And we're just as good.
Really? What national awards have you won?
None.
Exactly. Only Verizon was ranked #1 nationally in data, reliability, text and call, and speed. Yeah. And you're going to fist pump today?
Don't get fooled by cut-rate networks. Get the best. And now get up to 4 free Samsung Galaxy phones, 4 lines, and 16 gigs for just $150. Only on Verizon.
Value City Furniture presents how to know when it's time. First, look for a sign that it's time to buy new furniture. Any sign? At all. Then, follow the signs to the Labor Day sale at Value City Furniture. Hurry in for free delivery, plus 48 months, no interest financing when you spend $19.99 and up. Perfect. And that's how to buy the perfect piece at Value City Furniture.
What happens when a classic Philly sandwich meets the DQ oven? You get fire-roasted, steak-loaded, oven-hot, basil cheese focaccia Philly fandom. DQ bakes new artisan-style Philly, hot and melty on basil cheese focaccia bread, only at your DQ.
This beer gets straight to the point. It looks you in the eyes and firmly shakes your hand. Coors Banquet. That's how it's done.
It's a golden opportunity to discover what we learn on the track doesn't stay on the track. It just finds more street legal form. For a limited time, get some of the best offers of the year on our complete line of F-Sport performance vehicles. at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Lease the 2016 IS Turbo with zero due at signing for $379 a month for 36 months and we'll make your first month's payment. See your Lexus dealer.
The Cubs homestand continues against another NL team in playoff contention. The San Francisco Giants, champions of baseball in each of the last 3 even seasons, 2010, 12, and 14, and are in the hunt again in 16. Shark is circling, but the Cubs are no bait for the best record in baseball. Cubs and Giants, game 1 of a 4-game series and possible playoff preview on CSN.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Should be a fun weekend of baseball. The Giants are in. It's the first of a 4-game set. Cubs coming off a 22-6 August. The Giants really struggling in the second half, but currently holding down the top wild card spot. And welcome to Cubs baseball here on CSN. Len Casper, Jim Deshaies with you. The Cubs swept the Pirates. They welcome in the Giants, who had the best record in baseball before the break, and they've had the worst record after the break. What gives?
Yeah, they built a very comfortable lead towards the end of June. They had an 8-game cushion in the National League West. They stopped scoring runs offensively. They've really struggled in the second half, but they're in the numbers. First half, best record in Major League Baseball, 57-33. Second half, 15-27. They've struggled on the road. They've lost a lot of close one-run games, but you got to believe this Giant club has another run in them.
They beat the Cubs 2 out of 3 in May in San Francisco. The Cubs coming off their best month of the season, and we're going to focus in on a couple of guys who might win awards.
Yeah, 2 guys certainly deserving. I expect that they will. An August for Chris Bryant and Kyle Hendricks. You see where they rank. Chris's 1220 OPS led the National League, second best in Major League Baseball. Kyle Hendricks just continues to deal 4-0 in the month with a Major League best 1.28 earned run average.
Jeff Samardzija will pitch at Wrigley Field in another uniform for the first time since he was traded away from the Cubs a couple years ago. And remember last year in August, the Cubs with that 4-game sweep over the Giants. Mike Montgomery gets the ball tonight for the home team.
It's the final days of the Ford Freedom Sales Event, and the deals just got better. Just announced 0% financing plus $500 Labor Day cash across the entire 2016 Ford lineup. And specially tagged vehicles get an extra $1,000 smart bonus cash. Freedom from interest and freedom to choose with Ford, America's best-selling brand. I'm free, baby. Hurry, get 0% for 72 and $500 Labor Day cash across the entire Ford lineup. Plus specially tagged vehicles get another $1,000 smart bonus cash.
I'm a big fan of my Bank of America mobile banking app. I can manage my accounts, deposit checks, get alerts, pay my bills, and more. I'm a big fan of this team, too. In fact, I tried out to be the mascot. Apparently, I'm overqualified. I do not have an overbite.
The 4,000 ASE certified technicians of Firestone Complete Auto Care prove a tool's only as good as the hands behind it. Gear up for Labor Day weekend with a new set of Bridgestone tires. Now 10% off select models at your nearest Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your local Kia dealers. Visit mykiachicago.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the ballpark. The rosters have expanded for the rest of the way in the regular season. And the Cubs added 3 to their roster, and they may add a few more early next week. Chris Coughlin activated from the DL. He is in the lineup tonight. Joe Smith is in the bullpen, as is Jake Buchanan, who was mostly starting at AAA Iowa. Buchanan with previous Major League time as a Houston Astro. Now let's see how the Giants line up. Brought to you by Southwest. Bruce Bochy wrote down this lineup. Span had a very good month of August. So did the ex-Cub Angel Pagan. Buster Posey homered in that series against the Cubs in San Francisco. Pence has been banged up these last couple of years. Brandon Crawford, one of the best players in the league, regardless of position. Joe Panik's at second. Eduardo Nunez, former Twin, he was an all-star with them before he got traded. Brandon Belt scuffling in the second half. And the former Cub, Jeff Samardzija, batting ninth.
Cubs defensively brought to you by Arby's. Welcome back, Chris Coughlin. He's in left tonight. Fowler center, Hayward right, Bryant third base, Addison Russell, one of the best plays you're ever going to see in the ball game last night. Zobrist second, Rizzo first. David Ross behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is the left-hander Mike Montgomery. You see a total body of work with Seattle and the Cubs, 4-5 with a .260. This is his third start for the Cubs. He's also made 7 relief appearances since joining Chicago, 1-1 with a .350 in a Cub uniform.
Your umpires tonight, that's Adam Hammery behind the plate, Tom Hallion, the crew chief, at first, Chicago native Dan Bellino at second, and Phil Cuzzy is over at third. Cubs are the only National League Central team in action here on this Thursday, September 1st. Giants a game and a half behind the idle Dodgers, and we're underway. Span takes a strike from Montgomery.
Mike made 2 starts on the road trip, August 20th at Colorado. That spot start, he went 4 1/3, allowed just 1 hit, 1 run.
Breaking ball that time for a strike.
And then 6 days later against the Dodgers, got a no decision. That was in the Cubs' 6-4 10-inning win. He went 5 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs in that ball game. He walked 4. Much sharper in that game in Denver.
Span hooks one fair into the right field corner on an 0-2. Hayward up with it quickly, but Span has a leadoff double. He was out of their lineup yesterday, dealing with some neck stiffness, but back in there tonight, and he's on base to start the ball game.
Yeah, stays long through the zone there. So even though he may have been out on that front foot a little bit, the bat stays through the zone, flips it into the corner for a 2-base hit.
There's a former Cub Angel Pagan. 68 degrees in a north wind like last night, 15 miles an hour. Very similar conditions. And the pitch to the switch hitter is grounded up the middle. Diving stop, knocked down Zobrist. He'll get him at first. On the play, Span advances to third. That's the first out.
Pretty play by Zobrist, able to knock it down, and then he puts a little gravy on the potatoes, gets the out as well. Saves the run, gets the out. Nice job by Zobrist. He was not in the lineup last night. Fresh legs on a cool night.
Cubs will bring their infield in. 3 batters in. Here's Buster Posey, an all-star this year for the 4th time. Well-decorated career, including 3 World Series rings, and he fouls back.
Well, this tells you a couple of things. One, Joe feels like it might be tough to score off Jeff Samardzija tonight, especially in this ballpark, the way the wind is blowing in. Jeff's been throwing the ball well lately. Otherwise, I'm assuming he's got the infield back.
Low and in. You look at this Giants offense. Their leading home run man is hitting 8th tonight. That's Brandon Belt. He has 14.
Yeah, they don't hit for a lot of power, this club. They hit for average. They'll take walks, and they strike out less than any team in the National League.
Simplifies it, but Posey and Crawford are the two best players. They need Pence and Belt to have strong finishes. Getting good contributions from Span and Pagan, we mentioned, both coming off a good month of August.
Pence dealt with injuries. He's played just 76 games so far this year. One of those guys, when he gets hot, he can carry a team for a while.
Two balls, two strikes on the Giants catcher. The pitch on the ground. Span's going to stay right where he is as Zobrist throws to first. Two gone. So the move to play the infield in pays off. And Montgomery now will face Pence with 2 outs and everybody back.
Yeah, and it was interesting. It looked like Ben had maybe backed off a step or two. If Span is going on contact there, I believe he scores. But obviously he was not, and now it will fall to Pence to try to give the Giants the lead here. Montgomery, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Pence had been so durable prior to last year. Went on the DL 3 times. This year, 48 games missed with a hamstring injury. Recently missed 3 games with some hamstring tightness. And a towering fly to deep left. Way back and way gone. A 2-run homer for Pence. Into the wind, and he got every bit of it.
Yeah, he's country strong, Hunter Pence. Never been a real big home run hitter, but he's plenty strong and capable of hitting it a long way. That's got belly button high, and boy, does he unload. It's not the prettiest swing, but it gets results.
I am guessing he would tell you he probably can't hit a ball better than he just did. I mean, that's 3/4 of a way up the bleachers into the wind, and he hit it high.
And he hit it far.
And Brandon Crawford, 1-0, going outside. A lot of lefties in their lineup.
Yeah, and so, Joe flip-flopped the rotation, used Hamill last night against the Pirates, and when you look at the numbers, it certainly makes sense to go right against the Pirates as opposed to the lefty. This club, even though they do play a lot of lefties against left-handed pitching, they hang in there. They get results against left-handed pitching. Unlike that Dodger club, when we looked at the Dodgers, their splits, they really struggle against southpaws.
3-1 the count. And lined to Zobrist to end the inning. Hunter Pence with a 2-run blast. It's the Giants 2 and the Cubs coming up against that guy.
This is Coach Q at the new Binny's Beverage Depot in Lincolnwood. You should have seen this place 3 months ago. Today it's the largest wine, spirits, and beer superstore on the North Shore. As they say, if you can't find it at Binny's, it's probably not worth drinking.
I can do this. It's just a sale. A really amazing sale.
You okay, Charlie?
It's my first Hyundai sales event, sir.
You're gonna be fine. After all, we still have America's best warranty. We're still #1 in customer loyalty. The only difference is, with all these great deals, we're just gonna be a little busier.
A little, sir?
Guys, take it back. We're gonna be a lot busier.
Act fast today and make no monthly payments until 2017 on the Elantra or the Sonata.
Now that Big Papi's retiring, he's being smarter with his money.
I need to be smart with my money.
So he's become a super savvy shopper. Oh. That's why the Xfinity Best Offer of the Year is a home run. Lock in your rate for 2 years. Plus, get the X1 voice remote.
There is no crying in baseball.
It's the Big Papi of deals.
I'm not crying. My eyes are just sweating.
Score our best offer of the year on the X1 Triple Play from Comcast for only $89.99 a month and lock in your rate for 2 years. Go online, call, or visit today.
During baseball season, I don't have time to travel to the wine country, so I do the next best thing. I take a tour from Napa Valley to Bordeaux at Binny's Beverage Depot. Over 7,000 wines from 6 continents.
If you can't find it at Binny's, it's probably not worth drinking.
The leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. If Dexter Fowler gets a hit, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Cubs Southwest starting lineup begins with Fowler. Chris Bryant had a nice series in San Francisco. Anthony Rizzo playing first. Ben Zobrist cleaning up at second. Jason Hayward is out in right, batting fifth. Russell in the 6th spot playing short. Chris Coughlin is back from the DL. David Ross gets the start with the pitcher Montgomery hitting ninth.
Arby's defense for the Giants. Pagan, Span, Pence in the outfield. Nunez third. Crawford, one of the best in the business at short. Panic Belt on the right side. Posey behind the plate. And Alexis starting pitcher for the Giants, Jeff Samardzija. With 11-9, ERA sitting right at 4, making his 27th start. 2-1 with a .175 earned run average over his last 4 outings.
That's the biggest thing. If you haven't seen Jeff work in a while, biggest difference between now and then when he was a Cub. Doesn't throw a splitter quite as much. More cutters and curves.
Yeah, just kind of introducing the curveball this year. He doesn't throw a lot of them, but it's a different look. And I remember when Jeff was here having that conversation that, you know, with that power arm, that hard slider, cutter, whatever, in the split, something a little softer that especially you could throw early in the count to get the hitters off the fastball would be a good weapon for him. And he's implementing that this season.
Change up that time, and Fowler fouled it off. Dexter has a .495 on base average, leading off a game, including 6 home runs. Posey wants some high heat. Still 1-2. One of the big narratives around Jeff before he got traded to Oakland in 2014 was that he wanted to become a free agent. And he did this past off season and signed a 5-year, $90 million contract with the Giants. And that was coming off a tough year with the White Sox. That one yanked foul. He went 11-13 with a .496 last year. Gave up a major league leading 228 hits and 118 earned runs. But the volume of work prior to that, the stuff, and the market dictated that deal.
Yeah, I think just trying to project him. San Francisco's got a good pitcher's ballpark. It rewards being aggressive, challenging people, and he certainly is capable of doing that. And he's very durable. He's never gone on the DL in his career.
Pitch number 8. Boy, you look at the pitch tracks. He's working the edges, isn't he? He has not thrown one down the heart of the plate yet.
At the knees there. Good job by Fowler to stay alive. And noted the other night, Dexter, at least as of a couple of days ago, was leading Major League Baseball when putting fastballs better than 94 miles per hour into play. He was hitting up over 400. So there you go. There's some minutia for you to chew on.
Two curve in the dirt. Full count, 3-2. Still got some good hair working. Grow it out while you have it.
Give me some of it.
Jeff's 31, 6'5", 225, former All-American wide receiver at Notre Dame.
It's football weather here tonight. It's cool, it's crisp. It probably reminds some of the Giant personnel who've been around a while of Candlestick Park. Except for everybody's in blue instead of black and orange.
3-2 bounce foul. 12 pitches. Who does Dexter think he is? Jake Arrieta?
He's taking a bite out of the shark here.
Arrieta worked what? Was it a 13?
I don't remember, but yeah.
14 pitch at bat the other night. Ball 4.
Lucky 13, down and in. Yeah, fans appreciating that work by Fowler.
Well, you hope that's a tone setter. Now Chris Bryant. Go ahead homer early last night. Excellent defense. 13-game hitting streak. He's got 8 home runs during this streak. He has jumped into the National League OPS lead. And going into the final month, you'd say he's right now the odds-on favorite for the MVP. One strike on him. Now 0-2. It was the rope he hit into the bleachers last night on Ryan Vogelsong.
And into the basket.
From downtown. It's by Posey. Fowler to second, and that will be a wild pitch. That was a split.
You see the catcher's backside start to elevate, you know he's in trouble. Wild pitch.
One and 2 on Bryant. Hunter Pence with a long 2-run homer in the top of this first inning.
There's a cutter. The other thing Smarge is doing this year is using his two-seamer again, more so than he did last year. Last year he relied more heavily on the four-seam fastball and the cutter, and he didn't get the ground balls that he normally gets.
And you have a foam World Series ring on your head. Belt won't be able to get it. Fowler will score. Bryant with an RBI single, and the Cubs are on the board. It's 2-1.
Such good work here by Fowler and Bryant to start this ball game. Dexter working that long at bat, taking the leadoff walk, and then Bryant, as we've seen here recently, just fighting a tough pitch off, going the other way, pulling the hands in. Yeah, it's weak contact, but it's contact. And it's an RBI knock.
Nice work by Bryant, who has tied his career high with a 14-game hitting streak. Has September off to a good start. Now Rizzo, who homered off his former teammate last year when the Cubs played the White Sox on the south side. Called strike. And let's look at it.
Why not? Let's enjoy. Love the real retro unis.
Nothing cheap about that home run. You can see the mechanical difference. Samardzija last year had much more of a turn than he does now.
Yeah, well, a lot of times that's if you find that you've been flying open, you'll start to turn back a little bit to try to keep that front side closed longer, keep your weight back over the rubber a little bit longer.
Not nearly as exaggerated now as it used to be. He has had a real tough time finding a put-away pitch. He walked Fowler on 13 pitches. Bryant gave him a tough at bat, singled into right, and now it's Rizzo who bounces to Belt, diving stop from his knees. They'll get it to Crawford in time. That is the first out. By the way, as we start this series, the Giants are on a 15-game errorless run. This is the longest in their club history.
They've committed 65 errors this year. That's the third fewest in the National League. They're second to the Cubs in defensive runs saved.
Rizzo takes over at first, and the pitch to Ben Zobrist is wide for ball one. So I want to be specific how I ask this. It's not necessarily that you're giving up hits, but when you're in the first inning as a starter and you're not putting guys away and it's just taking you a lot of pitches, how hard is it to maintain your focus on that next pitch and not get frustrated?
Well, you do. You get annoyed is what happens, and you just want to go out there, get a quick, clean first inning, kind of get your bearings, and that's why a guy like Fowler is so important when you have a leadoff hitter who's willing and capable of working long at bats, and oftentimes at bats that end up with him on base. I mean, as you mentioned at the time, it's a tone setter. It just just kind of put you back on your heels a little bit. You're anticipating a good day, you're fired up. As a starting pitcher, you get to work every 5 days. Here we go. You take the mound, got a lot of adrenaline, and the next thing you know, the guy's just wearing you out. You have to fight the temptation just to give in, to kind of throw that. Here it is. Go ahead, hit it.
Smacked into left for Zobrist. Well, let's go back to that at bat from last year and just look at Samardzija's turn. See, his front side almost completely turns to that center field camera, and then tonight,
yeah, and this
not at all.
And this on the right is what we were used to seeing when Jeff was here with the Cubs, and I think that little turn last year, and I don't know if he did it all year, if it was just a temporary thing. It's one of those mechanical adjustments. If a guy's struggling, a pitching coach might suggest.
Jason Hayward.
That's this is when we saw when Jeff struggled at times with the Cubs. It was a tendency to try to overpower hitters, and there are times when he thought, well, if you go softer, he's going to change the feel a little bit. Right now, everybody's geared up for that heater.
Up, but the wind will push it well out of play.
I mean, that one was, I mean, it's 95 miles an hour. He's always had one of the better fastballs in terms of velocity in the league. But that one was right over the heart of the plate. And Hayward, who has struggled with velocity for much of this year, has been better lately.
Pitch number 31. Hayward's time against the Giants this year, let's see, one batter. Lined in. It's into left center, and the Cubs will tie it. Rizzo scores. Zobrist to third. It's 2-2.
I think Jason Hayward's starting to cross up some people in the scouting report. His ability to get to fastballs has improved greatly here over the last couple of weeks. I mean, that one gets deep on him, but he hits it hard, just beyond the reach of Crawford.
Dave Righetti out to the mound. Let's hear from Joe Madden on the resurgence of Jason Hayward.
He's on time right now. Best way I could describe it to you. Now you could go through a whole litany of different mechanical adjustments, and they all do. Everybody does. But right now he probably looks pretty much like he looked last year. You go through this whole process, and then you finally do the full circle thing, come back where he had been, and all of a sudden it started making sense again. So he's on time, foot's down, bat head's out front. That's the difference.
Pretty succinct explanation from the manager. And still only one out here in the first inning. Now Russell.
These are always fun. This guy got traded for that guy matchups.
Many more players were involved, but the headliners were Russell from the A's to the Cubs, and Samardzija and Hamill from the Cubs to the A's. That's left-hander Matt Reynolds up here in the first inning.
September baseball, man. 11 relievers available in the Giant bullpen tonight. Better not stand up down there. You're going to lose your seat.
2-0 on Russell.
Russell can get the foot down early. Never doubted Jeff's willingness to challenge hitters. It was 2-0 right down the middle.
Set at the belt, the pitch. Hot foul out of play. Cubs tying the game with 2 runs and taking their pound of flesh from the Giants starter here in the first inning. Russell knocked in 2 last night and made a game-saving catch. Swing and a miss. He strikes out. So that's the second out, and it'll bring up Chris Coghlan.
Well, he went soft there through the splitter and got the swing and miss. See the tumbling action. Addison out in front over the top.
Coghlan activated off the DL. And put right in the lineup. Playing left, batting 7th. He had a right rib contusion, second DL trip with a rib issue since his return to the Cubs. get the lead. Zobrist is in. Hayward to third. Gary Jones puts on the stop sign. Good decision. 3-2.
My goodness. Showed up at the ballpark today. It was cool. Wind was blowing in. Thought, it's a pitcher's night. Haven't made it out of the first yet. There's already 5 runs on the board. Fastball with some cutting action moving in on Coughlin. He cuts it off and rifles it right down the first base line. Gary Jones waving that left arm as he makes his way down the third base line to take as much time as possible before having to make a final decision on Hayward.
They will intentionally pass Ross to load the bases and get to the pitcher, Montgomery. Crowd doesn't like it. Samardzija, this is a season high in pitches thrown in an inning. And with this intentional walk, passing the 40 pitch mark.
Jeff's last start was against the Atlantas. He pitched 7 shutout innings in that ball game. 7 innings against the Braves. He allowed 7 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts through 107 pitches. He's almost halfway there. Mike Montgomery 0 for 5 so far, but with the bases loaded, I don't think they've gotten him out yet.
For 8 to start his major league career.
This would be an opportune time to get that first knock.
Yep.
They are swung way to the outfield and very shallow in center and in left. Hunter Pence remains pretty deep in right just in case Mike puts the hat out in front of one.
Get the call. 2-1. Two and two. Strikes him out, but the Cubs put Samardzija through the meat grinder in the first inning. They lead 3-2 after 1.
Saturday, 2 of baseball's best go head-to-head at Wrigley Field in a potential playoff preview. Coverage begins at 12:30 with Cubs Pregame Live presented by Fields Auto, followed by the first pitch on CSN Chicago.
Here's the pitch. Cubs win! Cubs win! Miguel Montero will be mobbed.
Here we go. It's the recon mission for Tango 165. The endless search for the best berries. A midnight run for tacos al pastor. And the empty roads of Dawn Patrol. This is summer driving. During the Mazda Summer Drive event, get 0 to drive lease offers on any new 2016 Mazda.
There are things in life that just go together. It's like they're always side by side. Because when we put them together, they're better. like home and auto insurance from State Farm. They just go together. And they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. Cubs on top a run. This is your Coors Light game report. Addison Russell with a jaw-dropping catch in last night's game, just continues to impress defensively. And I had a chance to catch up with him today, follow up on whether he thought that catch last night or the one he made here in San Diego was more difficult. And he said absolutely hands down the one in San Diego more difficult, because if you'll go back and watch, I actually took a read step the wrong direction, thought Will Myers was going to pull it. He didn't. It went through the middle. And so he had to horizontally, guys, after the hop, kind of catch that ball underneath his body. He said he couldn't even see it. So for him, the difficulty of that catch was much higher than the one last night. But he made sure to tell me, don't for a second think that last night's was easy, though. It wasn't. It wasn't easy, and I'm just glad I got my glove on it.
Two great plays. Are you surprised he picked the San Diego play?
I'm not, no. I thought they were both brilliant plays, and that's why, I'm glad Kelly did that piece, because I was curious. We talked about it last night, what his assessment would be of which play was more difficult.
So Montgomery has a lead and a strike on Joe Panik. And that one grazed him. Just got it.
A little curveball, and Panik not really trying to get out of the way of that one.
This one did not graze him. It was Matt Moore then pitching for the Rays, right in the helmet. Very scary moment. And Panik would end up missing 23 games on a concussion DL, and they're now teammates. Eduardo Nunez. Ball one.
I think Moore has bought him dinner once or twice since joining the Giants.
I don't think so.
If I'm Joe, I'm like, I'm walking up to him, rubbing my head. Hey, man, you want to go get a steak or something?
I got it. It's on me. Tap foul. Nunez was an all-star with Minnesota on July 28th. Giants acquired him in a trade, and then a few days later they sent Matt Guffey to Tampa Bay in that Matt Moore deal. Nunez hit .296 with the Twins, batting .235 so far with the Giants. Montgomery will get the out at first. Panik now at second, one away. Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Brandon Belt, first-time All-Star, hit .302 in the first half, just .215 since. So overall, some very good numbers, but he's been struggling lately.
I normally think of him as a middle-of-the-order hitter, but Bruce Bochy had moved him down a little while ago. Now with a lefty on the mound, he's demoted him all the way into the 8 hole.
Two 2-0 the count. Samardzija is on deck. A few pitching notes in terms of DL guys for the Cubs. John Lackey penciled in to start on Sunday, assuming he feels good tomorrow. That's a strike. Hector Rondon slated to pitch in a rehab assignment for Iowa Saturday and Monday, and then could return very shortly after that. Pedro Strop has a strained right groin. Suffered that while working out, so that adds a couple weeks to his rehab. Up ball pinballing around. Somebody better grab it, and Bryant will on a wild pitch. So the bad news is Strop will be pushed back a couple of weeks. The good news is he was pushing hard and was probably going to come back early. So it might in the end end up being about 6 weeks, which is what we thought it might originally be with the knee injury.
Yeah, and again, for a relief pitcher, you don't need a whole lot of time once you get back to active duty to be at full strength.
Infield coming in for the second consecutive inning. 3-1 to Belt, swing and a miss, 3-2.
And Belt, normally a very patient hitter. He's taken some heat for not delivering in situations such as this. Hangs in there well against left-handed pitching. So it looks like he's got that front shoulder rolled in a little further than normal, but I don't see him all that often.
There's the walk. Here comes Samardzija. Chris Bosio to the mound, and as he walks out there, Samardzija goes to his third base coach, Roberto Kelly.
I'd be surprised to see some kind of a pickoff move after this visit from Boz. The Wizard of Boz, he's always up to chicanery out there. Cub fans, Joe Madden wants you to own his car. Hey, that's a deal. Joe's raffling off his signature vehicle for charity. Wow, raffle tickets are $100 each.
That's it? Wow, that's a good bargain.
Available in fan services during all remaining home games or at 3721 North Clark Street. For full details, check out Cubs.com/Joe's Raffle. I suppose it would be frowned upon if we were to play and win that.
Probably so. Samardzija airs it out. Swing had a little bit of the bottom of the first wasn't a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Squares this time. Ross, the ball is right there at home plate. Still hasn't found it.
Appealing to see whether he offered at that ball. Tom Hallion, the first base umpire, says no, he did not. So there's another wild pitch. Is it me, or has there been a slew of wild pitches here in the last few days?
There have been, and it is a wild pitch because Belt advanced to second. Did that hit the umpire?
I'm not sure.
I think it did.
Rossi is in full-blown panic mode.
The way Ross went after it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it hit.
Got up, got
Adam Hammery
in the left arm.
Line shot. Fowler's got it. Panic tags. Here's the throw. It's cut off. 3-3. Sacrifice fly on a line out for Samardzija. We're in the second inning, folks. Been a lot of action here early.
Yeah, you get the feeling this is going to be one of those nights. It'll be a battle of the bullpen here eventually. Samardzija, man, look at that. How about that approach? He is really fooled, but he manages. When you watch golf and they talked about, he kind of hung on. He hung on to that one, and it's exactly what Jeff did.
So the Cubs appealed.
And Cuzzy's talking to Hammery and asking if the ball had been put back in play, and it wasn't. So they're gonna try again here.
So you know what? Panic apparently did not. Just got to look at the replay, and they got it right. Outside for a ball.
I remember the last time I saw somebody called out on an appeal for leaving early. Almost never see that called.
This man has a unique setup.
I was just saying that he's kind of fun to watch hit. It's like a sneak attack.
Front foot. contorted, so it's pointing kind of back at the catcher.
And then he'll drop down before the pitch. Sometimes even there it goes. Yeah.
Ball 4.
I thought only G.I. Joe could do that to his feet.
There's Pagan with 2 on, 2 down. So yesterday in Colorado, Stephen Cardulo, we mentioned it, he homered in each end of a doubleheader. Happened to be his birthday as well. He was the second player ever to hit his first 2 career home runs on his birthday. The first was Angel Pagan. On his 25th birthday in 2006, he homered twice off Cliff Polite of the White Sox here at Wrigley Field as a Cub. So while you can tell Jacob deGrom, right, that he didn't strike out the pitcher and you had to face a pinch hitter, Angel Pagan can tell Stephen Cardulo, I hit mine in 1 game. It took you 2 games.
Yeah, advantage Pagan on that one.
Right. Referring to JD's now shared major league record of striking out the first 8 batters of a ball game. 1-1.
Modern day record. We don't want to slight the great Mickey Welch.
Okay.
We got 9 in a row back in 1890 something. Don't want to hear from Mickey's ancestors. Wait a minute, pal.
On the ground is Zobrist. There's a cover at first, inning over. The Giants tie it up on a Samardzija sac fly. It's 3-3 after an inning and a half.
Dear Chicago, let's take a trip out of Midway to your favorite international destinations. With love, Southwest.
This beer gets straight to the point. It looks you in the eyes and firmly shakes your hand. Coors Banquet. That's how it's done.
Jack Link's Jerky presents Working Out with Sasquatch. Jack Link's Jerky, the protein packed snack packed with protein.
The Kia Top Quality Sales Event ends September 6th. But you can still get great deals on the sleek Optima and Optima Hybrid, as well as the Forte Sedan and Hatchback. Right now, get 0% APR for up to 66 months plus $1,000 bonus cash. Or 0 down, 0 due-it signing, and 0 first month's payment on select models. Visit Kia.com to see how Kia Quality performed against the competition. The Kia Top Quality Sales Event ends soon.
Cubs fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Wild start to this one.
Hello. Everybody's in a good mood, feeling chipper with this crisp air. Still enjoying a cold beverage or two.
47 pitches for Samardzija in the first inning.
Yeah,
13 were against Fowler.
A lot of times you go through a rough first inning and you head into the second and you're facing like 8-9-1, and so you have a chance to really catch up, have an easy inning and settle back in. But with the Cubs going all the way through their batting order, he's got to start all over with the guy who started it all with that long at bat.
1-1 strike. Little low. 2-1. Left the pride of Valparaiso High School and then the University of Notre Dame. 5th round pick of the Cubs, 2006. Line in the left. It'll hold up for Pregame. Cubs closer Aroldis Chapman made a visit to Lurie Children's Hospital today. Visited with patients in their rooms and in the Cubs classroom. Brought them some Cubs hats and teddy bears, signed autographs, and took some photos. And lots of smiles today. We will not see Aroldis tonight. He had a long 9th inning last night. He's been busy lately. As Bryant hits it high in the air for Pence in right. 2 outs.
So even though Samardzija had to start all over at the top of the batting order, he is in pretty good shape here to have a quick second inning. We'll see if he's able to dispatch Anthony Rizzo. Yeah, 3 in a row for Chapman. No way he was going to pitch in this ball game tonight.
So Samardzija taken by the Cubs 5th round 2006. That fall, after debuting in the minors, he went back for a final season at Notre Dame. And then that January 2007, I recall it was right around Cubs convention time, he signed a 5-year $10 million major league contract to seal his career choice. And he really, at least admittedly, only wavered once after that. He had one moment in the big leagues, early 2010, had a rough relief outing in New York. After which he thought about quitting, trying football again. His agent said sleep on it. He did, and he said he never looked back at that point. He was 25, just really didn't have a foothold yet in the big leagues.
Man, it's this game can really wear on you mentally. Obviously, when you're not having success, a lot of self-doubt can creep in, and when you've got a plan B, when you're such a talented athlete where you have that plan B, you can understand why you got to contemplate it.
Nice play, Nunez. Not a great throw, but Belt helps him out at the other end. So Samardzija with a 1-2-3 second, and he really needed it. 3-3.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. I'm attorney Howard Ankin with legendary sportscaster Steve Stone.
And I know the right team knows how to win, like Howard Ankin Law Office.
If you or someone you know needs help with an injury case, I'm here to help. Please give me a call.
Put Howard's number in your phone right now, 312-6-million.
Right now, save big on tires and wheels with our Labor Day deals. Use Discount Tire credit and save up to $320 when you purchase select tire and wheel packages. Discount Tire, where America saves on tires.
It's the final days of Nissan's Bottom Line Summer Event. Now save big with 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models and no payments for 90 days. Plus, get up to $3,000 bonus cash or 0 in on a low $189 per month lease on road. This Labor Day weekend is your last chance to get big model year-end savings. Hurry, 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and $3,000 bonus cash ends soon.
Experience the thrill from closer than ever before when the Ultimate Motorsports Series takes to the sky. 65 miles per hour, 10 G's of force. The Red Bull Air Race World Championship is coming to Indianapolis Motor Speedway October 1st and 2nd. Tickets now on sale.
Hey everybody, it's an Anthony Rizzo hat giveaway night brought to you by Bona Beef. Oh, we've got the Italian beef sandwich served here at Wrigley Field. And we wanted to tell you about the Rizzo Way sandwich. Bona has partnered with the Anthony Rizzo Family Foundation. So if you order the Rizzo Way sandwich in any of Bona's 19 Chicagoland locations, you will support the foundation. The Rizzo Way sandwich is an original Italian beef, meatball, and Italian beef and sausage combo, topped with red gravy, mozzarella, and provolone cheese.
It's got a whole lot going on in there.
Maybe we can get one more shot of the cap.
Yeah, see the
right there, and then
the cool, really, the sublimation in here is just incredible. Isn't that cool?
Really cool. Love it. I think this will be one of the more popular giveaways this season here at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, you wear your Rizzo hat, man. You can climb up on walls to make catches. You can hit home runs. You can eat a sandwich with 9 different meats on it and not gain any weight.
The 2-1 to Posey is fouled out of play. Bona is the official Italian beef of the Cubs. Proudly served here at Wrigley Field. You're going to dig in. Just be careful over there. That's low. 3-2 on Posey.
That's good.
Montgomery hasn't yet settled in. Ball 4. Will bring up Hunter Pence. He crushed a 2-run homer in the first. We'll call this one of the louder home runs we've heard this year.
He's capable of making a big noise. It's Bryant Soler territory up there.
His 9th. Hits that ball hard on the ground into right. They've got 2 on with nobody out.
Hunter Pence, one of those guys, has a reputation of being kind of a hard-nosed, old-school player. And when you watch him play, he moves like you're watching an old-time motion picture, you know, kind of choppy steps and just fast actions. It's like Enos Slaughter.
Now Crawford, he lined to second. His first time up. Very possible we have the top 2 candidates for the National League Gold Glove at short in this series. The incumbent is Crawford. He won it last year. Sometimes with that award, it's tough to knock that guy off the top of the leaderboard, but
he's like a congressman. The power of incumbency is very strong.
Two on him. Cubs at double play depth. The pitch. Montgomery to Zobrist. And it gets away from Rizzo. Posey will score, and the Giants grab the lead 4-3.
And both guys breaking to the bag there. And so Montgomery just kind of gooses over the base, doesn't put a lot on the throw. Zobrist drifting back towards the middle of the infield, not able to get much on his throw. He charged with an error. I'm guessing with Crawford up there, that was Russell's coverage. Some confusion there in the middle of the diamond.
So that error allows Posey to score. Giants have their second lead. Ground ball to Rizzo. He'll step on the bag. Now they've got Crawford caught. And he's tagged out. So double play will end the inning. If the Giants get one, they've scored in each of the first three. It's 4-3.
Here come the last of the 2016s.
I love this part. Stylish Prius, sporty Camry, fun Corolla, adventurous RAV4, they're all here. But not for long.
The final days of Toyota's annual clearance event are going on now. Get 0% APR on 11 of Toyota's most popular models like the 2016 Camry, Corolla, or RAV4.
Come in and get the 2016 Toyota you want before they are gone.
Toyota, let's go places.
This is not the land of good enough. Americans don't celebrate the Good Enough Canyon. We didn't aim to be second to the moon. Verizon doesn't settle for good enough either. So now we're introducing Verizon LTE Advanced, powering America's largest, fastest 4G LTE network ever, with 50% faster peak speeds in more than 450 cities, coast to coast. Welcome to the next-gen network.
This beer is true to its roots. Brewed only in Golden, Colorado, and nowhere else, ever. Coors Banquet. That's how it's done.
Hey, stop by Bass Pro Shops this week for clearance savings of up to 35% on Camel clothing, accessories, cold weather gear, and hunting boots to match every outdoor condition. And check out the Fall Hunting Classic online sale going on now at BassPro.com.
Tomorrow night, get your gridiron on with High School Lights on CSN. It's Chicagoland's premier preps recap show, featuring the latest scores, highlights, interviews, fan reaction, and more. High School Lights, presented by Wintrust, tomorrow at 11 on CSN.
Let's take a look at that play again in the top half of the inning. Montgomery pitching to Crawford, and what happens here is Zobrist is running the cover second base in case this is a ground ball to Addison Russell. He's thinking about a 6-4-3 double play. Montgomery makes the play on the ball. Now you got two guys heading to the base, and the last thing Zobrist wants to do is give up on the play and assume that Addison's going to have the bag. So just kind of an unfortunate series of events there that leads to the Giants scoring that run.
Zobrist to lead off the Cubs third. Fastball for a strike. According to Adam Hammery.
Ben has a very good eye, and lately there's been a lot of pitches outside the zone called strikes on him for whatever reason. Probably for no reason. They just have been. There's no conspiracy. There's no anti-Zoe movement.
Two balls and a strike. Cubs got 3 in the first. Giants 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third. Cubs now have scored in the first inning in 6 consecutive home games. Curve missed. It's 3-1. So Marja is a Cubs opening day starter. Back-to-back years, 2013 and 2014. 2014, he was an all-star. He was named to the NL squad the day after he was traded to Oakland. Therefore, he was deemed ineligible to pitch for the AL. He did hang in the dugout for the game, but was unable to participate. It's interesting. You know, Jeff's a Midwestern guy, but we both know him well. If you didn't know where he was from, you might say he sounds like he's from Northern California. Kind of has that surfer dude vibe.
Yeah.
As he comes back and gets Zobrist. Hey, Cubs fans, let's go. The best availability for tickets during the final homestand of the regular season is the Red Series, September 19th through the 21st. Don't miss your chance to catch a game here at beautiful Wrigley Field. Visit Cubs.com to get your tickets today.
Well, you know who else fits into that category? It's Joe Madden.
Yeah.
Hazleton, Pennsylvania. You've got that Cali laid-back vibe thing going on.
Beats Hayward to first. And 2 outs, so Samardzija has been pretty efficient here these last 2 innings after that 47 pitch first. So as Russell steps in, did you know in the month of August in Major League Baseball there were 1,053 home runs hit, the second most in any calendar month in the history of baseball?
I did not know that. I knew home runs were up.
May 2000, 1,069 were hit. The Orioles hit 55 in August. That tied a major league record for that month. They had already set the June record with 56. The Cardinals off tonight in Cincinnati tomorrow night. They'll try to extend their club record 20-game home run streak. Russell on the ground, fair, taking Nunez into foul territory, and he gets it. What a play by Eduardo Nunez. Unfortunately, giving Russell a taste of his own medicine with some Gold Glove defense over there on the left side. 4-3 San Francisco.
Everything you're looking for is right here.
Oh.
I'll be here if you need me.
Watching in slow motion as you turn around and say, oh, take my breath away.
Find anything you like?
Yes.
Now is the moment to get the Honda you love. KBB.com's 2016 Best Value Brand. Hurry in. The Honda Summer Clearance event ends soon.
What if we made a paint that was so special, that was such a jewel among paints, that you had to seek it out? Nope, even easier than that. More like taking a left on that street where you usually take a right. That wasn't so hard. And if finding that paint made you and your walls beam with pride, is it still paint? Benjamin Moore, paint like no other. Find one of our 5,000 authorized retailers near you.
What's the key to business success? Stay on your toes and keep moving. Whether you're launching a new product or fighting off hackers, business has to be ready for anything. And your IT needs to support it. Forsyth Technology, together with leading partners like Cisco and Red Hat, and technology supported by Intel, will help you get ready and stay ready by leveraging the power of the cloud without compromising security and control, giving your business a lasting competitive advantage.
Welcome to Wrigley Field. And it is gone! We're tied! Rizzo gets on the top. He makes a catch. Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Welcome back. Time now for the Lowe's home field advantage. We're talking about Cubs starting pitching here at Wrigley Field. And check out those ERAs. $1.21 for Hendricks, Hamill 177, Lester 201, Arrieta 268, Lackey 2.47.
Guess who's leading off? Who made the defensive gem to end the last half inning? Seems like it happens more often than it actually does. Alonso scoops.
Yeah, somebody made that declaration, years and years and years ago. The guy who makes a big play always seems to lead off the next inning, so it's been part of the thinking around Major League Baseball, around baseball period, anywhere on any level for years. Maybe if a guy knows he's coming up, he's really engaged and really focused.
More likely to make a big play. Yeah. I think essentially there's a 1 in 9 chance, right? An 11% chance that
he'd be leading off.
He would be leading off. Montgomery pitching in Los Angeles. It meant a lot of family and friends there as Belt lines out. Wednesday, September 21st, the Cubs welcome students, alumni, and fans of the Big Ten. Fans who buy tickets through the special group nights page will receive a special edition Cubs scarf in their favorite Big Ten schools' colors. Also, one lucky individual will get a chance to throw out a ceremonial first pitch. For more information, visit Cubs.com/special group nights. Mike's last start at Dodger Stadium on the 26th of August. 5 innings, 3 runs allowed in a no decision. The game, Chris Bryant hit a couple of home runs late. 6-4 win in 10. From the LA area. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the kind of inning he needed. His first 1-2-3.
Dear Chicago, let's take a trip out of Midway to your favorite international destinations. With love, Southwest.
Nobody should go to bed hungry.
That's where our friends at Benny's Beverage Depot are going to bat for the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Every time the Cubs leadoff man gets a hit, Benny's donates $100 to help feed hungry families in Chicagoland.
That calls for a toast.
It's a golden opportunity to discover that in a Lexus SUV, there are no adverse conditions.
Blue sky, smiling at me.
Nothing but blue skies do I see.
Blue days, all of them gone.
For a limited time, get some of our best offers of the year at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Lease the 2016 RX 350 for $419 a month for 36 months, and we'll make your first month's payment. See your Lexus dealer.
Closed captioning of Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by U.S. Waterproofing.
A little seepage in your basement is no need to panic. Count on the experts at U.S. Waterproofing to diagnose and repair the problem.
For a free consultation, visit uswaterproofing.com. A better basement starts with us.
Hey fans, when you think mortgage in Chicago, think eClick Lending. With rates at all-time lows, don't wait. Lock in your low rate today. With eClick Lending, you never pay lending fees. Point, click, save. eClick Lending. Glad to have you with us tonight. Huge crowd here at the ballpark starting a holiday weekend. Giants are in for 4. Day games to follow. And let's look ahead. The Cubs' upcoming schedule brought to you by PNC. Back to the road after this weekend with a noon start on Labor Day in Milwaukee, then off to Houston and St. Louis. Coghlan an RBI double to give the Cubs the lead in the first inning. Fouled away. One afternoon final. The Braves finally have a home series sweep in their final season at Turner Field. Beat the Padres this afternoon 9-6. They also have now done something they hadn't done since 1953 when they were in Milwaukee. They've scored at least 7 runs in 5 straight home games.
Freddie Freeman's been really hot.
Yeah, he homered today. Coghlan in the air, deep left. Pagan going back after it along with Span, and the wind knocks it down.
Yeah, maybe on another night. I saw Pence hit that ball way up into those seats on the pull side, but for an outfield hitter, unless you're just unbelievably strong, the chances of driving one out of here pretty remote. Look at those guys. They're wearing their Christmas toques.
Ross took an intentional walk in the first.
A quiet night around Major League Baseball. Not a lot of action. The Marlins are beating the Mets 6-1. They're trying to salvage the game in that series. They've lost 3 consecutive to the Metropolitans.
Yeah, not a must win, but I would call it a you kind of need to win. And they're up late. There's Rob Zastryzny.
Yeah, take that, Samardzija.
Cesar Samardzija Zastryzny. Two and one.
Mr. Posey is such a valuable player, and to try to save his legs a little bit, they'll move him out from behind home plate, let him play some first base on occasion, but he is really good back there. Good receiver, smart guy, and really throwing well. He's got the highest caught stealing percentage of any catcher in the National League, 40%. How quiet he is behind the plate.
3-2. Well, he's 29 years old. In the prime of what is looking like it could be a Hall of Fame career. He's a .308 career batter, 4-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, MVP, got World Series hardware, comeback player of the year after that devastating injury. The defense you mentioned kind of has it all. 3 Silver Slugger awards.
Yeah, you get one of those guys, you don't let him go. You don't shake a tree and get a catcher with that skill set.
Couldn't recruit John Lester, though.
No.
We heard Vin tell the story last week. The Giants were very much in on John Lester, and part of their pitch was Buster Posey telling John Lester, I imagine, hey, I'd love to catch you.
Yeah, it showed up at his door. Hi, I'm Buster Posey, and I want to be your catcher.
Ball 4.
And he probably had a big old check like Ed McMahon, too.
Those big plastic checks.
Yeah. I've been authorized by the San Francisco Giants to present you with this big check.
Montgomery will not hit.
Gentlemen, pinch hitting for the Cubs, number 2, Tommy La Stella.
The Tommy La Stella, the second game back, was in the lineup last night against the Pirates. So 4 innings for the starter, Montgomery. Three of the 4 runs he allowed were earned. Area product, George Contos up for the Giants. George went to Niles West High School and then Northwestern. Deep to left, Pagan backpedaling, he's got it. Estella lines out. There have been a lot of hard hit balls on both sides tonight. Look at that, threw more in the first than he has since combined. So what has he done differently?
Well, he's throwing the ball over the heart of the plate a lot. You talk about the hard contact. He's been willing to challenge hitters. I mean, I think he basically backed into a corner where he had to do that because of all the pitches he made in the first inning. I mean, it's kind of who he is as a pitcher anyway.
Wind blowing in.
Very aggressive with that fastball. He did go a little softer in the second inning. I noticed he started spinning the ball a little bit more. Sometimes pitchers do themselves a disservice when they go into a game with a game plan of, well, I'm going to establish my fastball. Sometimes you just need to pitch. Especially, you know, if you've been leaning so heavily on your fastball and all of a sudden you've given up a couple base hits, maybe you've walked somebody. Now when you need to make a big pitch with a breaking pitch, maybe you don't feel quite as confident in it because you haven't really developed a feel for it yet. And then you're really backed into a corner.
Good point. 1-1 the count. Curve strike. 1-2.
He doesn't have to have a knee buckling curveball because he throws so hard and people are geared up for that 95.
Ground ball will get into center. Ross on his way to third. Good read with 2 outs. Ball wasn't hit that hard. That'll give Chris Bryant a chance.
Hey, there's Dexter Fowler getting a base hit on a 96-mile-an-hour pitch. Yeah. He's the king of velocity.
Josh Osich.
This is
how many guys
is the
have they
third
had up?
different guy they've had up, right?
Right, we're in the fourth
inning. And he's getting ready for possible confrontation with Anthony, I would assume. It was last year against the Giants when the Cubs pulled off that 4-game sweep. When we noticed Joe Madden was kind of going into playoff mode, the way he managed that series. The Giants in a similar situation now. Been in first place for most of the year. They've seen that 8-game lead disappear. They're a game and a half back now.
Including off days, they have spent 123 days this season in first place. but not since August 20th. High fly ball out into right center. Span circling and making the catch. Wind held that one up. And the inning is over. Cubs trail by 1 after 4.
It's the final days of the Ford Freedom Sales Event, and the deals just got better. Just announced, get 0 for 72 plus $1,500 Labor Day cash on 2016 Ford Fusion and Escape. And get an additional 1,000 smart bonus on specially tagged vehicles. Freedom from interest and freedom to choose with Ford, America's best-selling brand. I'm free, baby. Get 0% for 72 months plus $1,500 Labor Day cash on Fusion and Escape. Plus, specially tagged vehicles get another 1,000 smart bonus.
New message.
Hi, Bob here. Well, not here per se. We're opening our 75th store, and I'm out whooping it up at our chain-wide Labor Day celebration. And while we're growing fast, there's one thing that will never change. My Bob's way. No phony sales or gimmicks, just untouchable furniture values. So come celebrate our 75th store all Labor Day weekend long with entertainment, yummy treats, and Bears alumni legends on hand. You can even enter to win a pair of our coveted Bears tickets. Okay, gotta go. There's a balloon animal with my name on it.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. Your Coors Light game report. Rob Zastryzny taking over here in the 5th inning for Mike Montgomery. Nice solid arm that Joe Maddon's been able to lean on the last couple weeks. A young guy still kind of finding his own identity with this ball club, and it was never more evident than the other day. In the clubhouse, the barber was around, guys were getting shaped up, and Zastryzny looks at me and says, I don't really know what to go in and say that I need. I used to have hair down to my shoulders, much like what Jeff Samardzija sports. And he said, I guess I'm going to go in and ask for the Kyle Hendricks comb over, because Kyle's certainly got it going on and knows his identity. So guys, that's what Rob went with. We can't really see it under the hat today, but my understanding is that was the haircut he was looking for.
Well, yeah, I guess if you want to pattern your haircut after anybody, it should be the Major League ERA leader, right? He's been pretty good himself.
Yeah, he's done a nice job, hasn't he? He's just out there for the 5th time now. Picked up the win in that 13-inning game against the Pirates the other night. He allowed a run in that ball game, but was able to limit the damage. It could have been a lot worse. And the Cubs rallied to win. He picked up his first Major League W. He had pitched scoreless baseball in his prior 3 appearances.